like a panther.
This is where the fun begins.
The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural.
What's going on? I'm trying to hold a straight face, but what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Sithcast podcast, a Star Wars podcast where we pretty much talk anything and everything Star Wars, including prostate exams. Welcome back.
Oh, you got it in.
I got it in. I might as well get it out.
If lightsabers don't kill you anymore, maybe they're more like a medical tool, and maybe you could use a lightsaber to do prostate exams.
Yeah, that's going to be.
Everyone's going, what? This show starts out with prostate.
Usually it goes downhill, usually a quarter way into the show, but I guess we're just going down from right off the.
Why were there fireworks? Because I did this. Is it picking up?
Oh,
is that what it did?
Yeah, he did this, and then fireworks started happening.
Is that a Mac thing, or is that your thing, or is that like my because I'm on a Mac laptop and it knows? Because
I'm on a Mac too, but it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's crazy.
What else?
You're just special.
We'll find some more things.
Marty, you're special. That's it.
Wait till you see the animations.
Oh. Put your elbows.
There's gonna be lightsabers coming out.
Oh, Lord.
Okay,
hang on.
so
let me show you this one.
Where are we going?
I don't know. How did this start so wrong?
So
just
wrong.
a joke. A joke.
Oh, jeez! If you guys only knew what story
backstage
I told
was funny.
The backstage.
I feel like people would pay extra to see the behind the scenes before we get on, because then they hear all the bad stuff that we say.
The thing too is that I feel like sometimes the best conversation usually happens off air. It's almost like I feel like we should just go live right off the get-go and just start.
Yeah, it's like Mark Maron, he does that. He starts before he starts.
Yeah,
honestly,
fall where they may.
Yeah, a lot of the good stuff is backstage, and you're like, oh man.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, so you guys know Marty. He's in in a lot of shows and movies that you guys probably a lot of movies. He was on Smile. Did a lot of horror stuff, like American Horror Story. He was in Westworld.
We're not going to talk about the other star thing that he was in.
Yeah, I think that's
with Picard and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, that
yeah. He's like,
that other star.
See, he even forgot. So he even forgot. So
yeah, but you guys probably know him best for his role as Vane in Mandalorian. And can I tell you, Marty, you did such a great job, with that character. I just saw, as soon as he started talking and I was just like, damn it, that guy, you, Vane, you. Vane.
you space pirate guy, you drunkard.
Yeah, but he was just really such a badass character and
ruthless.
Yeah,
bully.
Ruthless.
He just came into that town get out of this bar.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was looking for in terms of a pirate, scoundrel type of character. So
only there to cause trouble.
Hey,
yes,
that means you did a good job. So
yeah, I mean, thank you. Well, I was gonna, can you tell us more about how you brought that character to life? Did you get any backstory on him, or can you tell us that process of getting into the character?
Yeah. Well, initially, most of the characters, most of the alien species have been rubber pullover masks, right? Mm-hmm. So even if it's a character with dialogue, oftentimes you can kind of see it's been a mask, right? Mm-hmm. So when I got cast, I was like, God, I hope they're going to do it as a makeup. I was really excited that they might be able to do it as a makeup. So I started poking around and sending emails to see if I could find out who was doing the makeup. So I found Christina, the makeup department head, and I was like, Dear Christina, my name is Marty. I really love Star Wars, and I'm going to be a pirate for you. And I was just wondering if you wanted to get a copy of my head. And she's like, relax, actor boy. We have a copy of your head, and we're already sculpting because we want to do a Nikto as a makeup. And I was like, I'm with the right people. This is going to be the best thing ever.
That's awesome.
Because they were excited because sometimes you just want to see these things that you grew up with as a kid be more animated and more character-like, and it was their wheelhouse. So they were off and running. They were excited to make it as a makeup rather than just a pullover.
Yeah, and what an amazing makeup. And that's one thing we love about Star Wars is just like the practical effects of things, right? We do appreciate the CGI, the digital side of things, but when you see like practical effects, including like costumes and masks and everything, it just like brings you back to like the good old days, like, yeah, that's how it was done. And
feels real. Feels real. It looks real.
Yeah.
It feels real.
But that's how it's meant to be.
Evidenced by Grogu, that I love that story that it was Werner who's like, don't be a coward, or called them cowards, of like, if they were going to do CG, he's like, no, commit to the puppet.
Yeah.
He's absolutely right, because the light is always going to be right. The texture is always going to be right. It doesn't matter if you know or think you know that he's not real. Like, he's more real being real than he could ever be if he was CGI.
But you could physically touch him too, Like,
and I did.
Did you? How cool is it?
Turd. He's so cute. He's so cute.
See, Sean?
You saw Vane, like this giant, nubbly faced, like intimidating looking dude. They rolled him out when they turned around to shoot that side for Carl. They rolled out Grogu, and I lost it. I lost it.
Oh no!
Were you like somebody who sees a little puppy and goes "Ishu booshu booshu boo"?
Every day, still
Grogu.
every day. I walk up to people in coffee shop and it's like, "Hi, can I be that guy? Because I want to be friends with your dog." Yeah. Always.
Yeah.
So I was doing that with Baby Grogu. Like, well, first I was giving him like the clinical kind of look. There he is. Just trying to see, because I also like to know how things work and how they're made. So I was kind of looking at his eyes to see if they did any CG touch-ups or if the seams were really good. And then I noticed his ear twitch, and then he just kind of came to life, because the animators, they're waiting for an opportunity. They love what they do, and they're great, and they practice. So if someone walks up to their thing, they'll just start working them. And at that point, I was like, "You're the cutest dude! I just love you."
I was gonna say, did you catch yourself having like full conversations with Grogu and like?
Oh, so much so that I forgot where I was. I forgot what I looked like, until at one point I was like, I looked over and everyone's watching this happen, and like the cameras are going, and like, it was great. Cool. It was a highlight.
That would be cool. Behind the scenes footage. That would be cool to see.
Yeah. I actually asked recently. I reached out to see if by any chance someone had snapped a photo, but not yet. Haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say too is like, with the practical effects, not only with Grogu but with your mask as well, and some of the other pirates that are with you. Was it like a long process just to get into the outfit, especially the mask, or?
This particular makeup is, as they go, pretty quick and pretty easy.
Okay.
I think, by design, they wanted to make it not take forever in the chair so they could keep the day going, but also just by virtue of, you look at this face, not an overly complex paint job. Like, there's a lot of subtle detail, but they did it ahead of time. He was pre-painted. He's a cowl piece and a face piece and a chin piece, and then all of the touch-up detail makeup around the eyes and the lips, glued on a couple of horns, and sent me out the door. So I think he's around like maybe 2 hours to get ready.
I feel like it's difficult to be able to breathe through that. So you were doing a lot of breathing control from your mouth.
Mouth breathing, yeah.
Yeah. For those two episodes, I guess both of those episodes, he sounds a little bit congested. Or let's just say if he were to fly away and then come back somewhere, perhaps his breathing will have improved by then by some technology.
Hinting to something here, aren't we?
Today's episode is going to be about dropping little cookies.
Yeah, little Easter eggs here and there, guys. So definitely, stay tuned for some good stuff. Well, I was gonna say too, like I love the character Vane. I'm more obviously because of the podcast. I'm more into like the bad guys. Like I love the good guys, but the bad guys are just like the way they look, the way they act, the way
They
they
look
walk.
cooler. They
They
really
look
do.
cooler. Then you get
They've got the awesome wardrobe. They get to carry swords that they never use. It's pretty cool.
Attitude. Yeah.
Yeah. Sonny Jim says you did an excellent job at being unlikable. Which is good though. That's
perfect.
That's what you kind of want from a bad guy. You're like, damn, I
100%.
love to hate that guy. I
have no ego in this whatsoever. Like I am not this. I get to watch this and go, that guy's a dick. But there was some guy on YouTube when there was some speculation about like what if he's coming back, because they started to use his face for some advertising for something else that we'll probably talk about at some point. And like I looked at the just like the first couple of lines of comments, and some guy's like, that pirate is ass. And I'm like, aw. I feel like I'm making a difference now.
I know, right?
Yeah, it's just like one of those. Like, listen, for me, it's I love to use sports analogies here, but like the Patriots, like everyone loved to hate them. They were so good at what they did, but people hated them.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things that, like, you did such a great job with this character that no one will forget your character. It's just like that. I think your character is more memorable than Gordon. Oh, I can't say his name. Gorian Shard. Yeah, I'm a Gordon
salad guy.
Yeah, no, but like
the salad guy.
Can we call him a big piece of seaweed at one episode? Yeah, it was like the seaweed guy.
Yeah,
fascinating design. I don't know how he stays hydrated, but it was a really fascinating design.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Sean. Okay, sorry.
Oh, I was going to ask a question. Go ahead, finish, PJ.
No. I'm so excited that Marty's here. So go ahead.
So Marty, was this your first character you played in the Star Wars universe? And if so, like, how did you go about getting the role?
Well, I plucked it out of a hat by sheer force of will.
You used the Force.
Yes, I'm old enough to have been 7 years old when Star Wars came out. Prime spot.
Oh,
little mind blown open. So I've always been a fan of the universe, of the creativity, the novelizations. I haven't gone crazy full down the rabbit hole of like comics and everything because there's so much, but love the movies. I've enjoyed all of them. So much so that I love consuming all the behind the scenes stuff. And I was watching the Mando season 1, when they were doing the roundtable discussions with Jon Favreau, the directors and whatnot. And toward the end of one of them, Favreau said something about, they were talking about these aliens, kind of like the background aliens and character aliens. And Favreau himself said something like, you got to have people who can act in these things. You can't just stuff anybody in them and have them walk around. And I was like, that guy, he understands.
Right.
How can, at that point, I was like, dear universe, I would like to manifest some way of working with in this amazing sandbox with the amazing technology that they have, with all those creative, cool, fan nerd people who now get to create the new stories. And can I curse on your podcast?
Yes.
Oh yeah, curse. Yeah. Curse away.
I shit you not. It was probably 2 weeks later. This audition came in, and it just kind of read like Old West shootout. And I'm like, well, there's nothing much I know with like the secret code word for casting that would be kind of Old West shootout. It's gotta be Mandalorian. Like, is this even possible? So I assumed, and based on my assumption, the audition scene was kind of like the shootout, but just modified. So at the end of the audition, I draw, and then I would, because I'm an editor, I got to do it the way I wanted to do it. So I just cut it to black, and I put in some Lucasfilm laser blast sound effects, and I was like,
nice.
Here's hoping. And then was cast from that.
Wow, that's awesome. That had been a dream come true too.
Phenomenal. And I was only supposed to be there for the one day. I was going to be one of the guys who got shot.
Right.
Yeah.
But because they put so much effort into making him look amazing with the makeup and the wardrobe. This phenomenal costume that weighed about 25 pounds.
Right.
On day one, Favreau walked up and was like, "So he's just going to shoot the gun out of your hand. You're not going to die." And then he just walked away.
Oh,
wow.
really? So he already had plans for you because
Yeah.
For one, you probably brought justice to the character, and you were visually appealing. And there's something that Favreau was like, "All right, we're keeping this guy." So that's
fun.
a great compliment.
Yeah.
That's
I also feel like your character also said a lot, like with your eyes, like
oh
you know, your eyes. You know, just looking at
there's a lot of side eye back there.
and just by looking at this shot right here, you know, you can see it there, like, you know, like this dude's really a dick, like he's evil.
For sure. For sure.
That's a compliment.
That was a compliment, Marty.
100%. I would
saying you have really nice, you have pretty eyes.
Shucks. Well, what you're saying though, like if you look at that makeup and you look at my face, you might notice there's a couple of differences, right? Like they had to really build out. I have a nose, he does not. So they built up a lot of really thick material. And then to make it blend, they make massive eyebrows that are really thick. So what I've learned over the 20 plus years I've been doing this is like when I'm working with the makeup artist and I'm getting to see what they've built, I'm immediately thinking like, how am I going to work this thing? How much effort am I going to have to put in? Do I need to, if I want to raise an eyebrow for the character, do I have to go like 20% harder or 120% harder to make it read? So my time in the makeup chair is kind of gauging what I might need to do to make those expressions read and read well. So because they were so thick, they did break the eyebrows so I could kind of raise one or the other. And they left them open all the way around because they also knew the material was really thick. So I'm like, okay, so I've got my eyes, I can kind of work the eyebrows, and that's pretty much what I get.
Was it hard to articulate the mouth?
It wasn't too hard. Like he got a little muppety just because there's so much material.
Right.
But I had full freedom of like opening, closing, and you know, my mouth can like close up a little bit. But yeah, it was a pretty thick ridge on both lips.
Okay.
So most of the animation was kind of like you said, eyes and attitude.
Yeah. Well, you definitely brought the tude, man. And,
oh yeah.
I mean, look at that coat. It's hard not to look at that.
Yeah, man.
It just looks so badass, man. That's like I said, like
a real pirate.
Yeah, a real pirate, and just someone that you just. To be honest, I thought you were like, you know, I didn't know like that your character was working for someone else, but I just thought you were like the main villain.
He thinks he is.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I wonder if he is going to, in future projects, will he be the leader of a crew or clan or group or
well,
you know,
clearly, let's speculate for a second. So
yeah, I love to speculate.
He clearly enjoyed kind of being the boss of his little gang of dipshits there in the street.
I love it.
So he has aspirations. He has maybe delusions of grandeur or aspirations of higher level business. So I think
it's got upper management written all over him.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's a real go-getter, that one.
Yeah.
So perhaps if he were to show up somewhere else, he might also be trying to climb the ladder of success in the way that only a drunken space pirate could.
Yeah. We got a question in the chat. It says, is this character the most prosthetics and makeup you've had to wear to date?
No, in fact, he's one of the least amount of prosthetics and makeups.
Really?
Because he's only prosthetics up to my neck, and everything else is wardrobe. So way back on Sleepy Hollow, there were some characters that were like 20 to 30 silicone pieces glued from my feet to the top of my head.
Wow.
There's that show on Paramount Plus called Evil.
Yes.
Yep.
Oh my
I remember
gosh.
watching that.
Your character was so creepy.
George. So he's a head to toe bodysuit, but I'm only glued on the face and head. So most often I'm only glued face and head, and everything else is like either wardrobe or a suit that I get into. But sometimes, depending on what it is, I'm glued head to toe.
Yeah, I was gonna say you seem to play a lot of like villainous characters.
Weird, right?
No, it's cool. I'm all for that. And would you at some point in the future would like to play a less villainous character or?
I mean, if I had to.
Yeah,
If you had to
I
twist
love
my
it.
arm.
I love it. I love it. Because I would be
They're a
to be
lot of
honest.
fun.
Yes.
The
I
bad
think
guys
more
are fun.
freedom, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's the fun of it.
Mhm.
In day-to-day life, I don't go around threatening to drink in schools because it's not looked on very highly in most communities.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
yeah, good guys are fine and lovely. And I think, that's more
Mhm.
me, like as we were talking about
Yeah,
earlier.
yeah.
Like I love dogs and dogs understand that. And like I can just go, there's a dog around and I can look around the corner and the dog's already like, I knew you were coming. And same with kids, like, it's easier to be
Mhm.
just a normal, nice guy. It's more fun
Mhm.
to have these characters who are unconstrained by like social convention or morality or
Yes.
whatnot. And
Yes.
like to be able to play with that in a safe environment, just kind of like let your mind go and just see like
Yeah.
what if, right? It's all that actor game of like playing the what if. So what if I was this guy who had this little gang of dudes with him and were
Mhm.
just there to cause trouble?
Mhm.
How's he going to go about it? Like, that's my work. How's he going to go about doing this thing that he wants to do? It's tons of fun.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say too is that like, like I mentioned earlier, like was there like a backstory that like, John
Mm.
or anyone gave you like a say, hey, listen, you're playing this guy, he's he's a pirate, Vane, and he works for uh I always say I always want to say
Gorian.
Gorian Shard.
Gorian
Gordon.
Shard. You know, was there more to that? It's like, listen, this is the backstory. This is where, or you kind of like you. I know you mentioned earlier that you did improv. Was that something that you had to like mesh together and just kind of like make up
There
your own
was,
story in your mind? Yeah.
yeah, it was mostly just made up. I think there
Hmm.
wasn't really anything other than he works for this pirate king. He's down there and like, I knew what the scene told me. There
Yeah.
was
Okay.
nothing else beyond that. And largely, I think that's because of the secrecy and privacy around the production,
Hmm.
and that it is on a TV pace, so you don't get the full script. I never saw the full script. I didn't know what was going on
Right.
other than what we were shooting.
Oh wow.
So I knew we were there. I knew that because based on the dialogue that Grief Karga and I had a history. So I just made that up because
Oh, okay. Because that's why
in the
I was asking.
Yeah.
in the constraint of the scene, it didn't
Hmm.
matter. Like if I had a history and I could somehow play that out in addition to the dialogue stating it, then
Hmm.
whatever it is fine. It would read that, I
Yeah.
got a history with him and maybe I got a beef with him and, maybe we weren't the best of pals. Maybe I think, he stabbed me, whatever it is, just allows that kind of realistic thing to come out that makes it read a little better.
I
Yeah.
wonder,
Because I
is
was
that
gonna.
sorry, Sean.
Go ahead, no.
I
Go.
was just gonna say, like, I wonder, is that like a common thing that, I guess that they do maybe specifically for that production company, that they don't fully, tell you guys what your character is or there's a background story? Because I guess they don't want stuff getting,
Yeah,
leaked.
happens a lot.
Okay.
Happens a lot. With Evil, it was a different story because I
Mhm.
was I'm a series regular status with that show
Right.
and came in from like day one to work on George before the pilot in season 1, episode 1. So because of that, I don't know if it's more of a contractual obligation or what, but I was getting full scripts even if I wasn't in the episodes.
Oh,
For
okay.
something like this, where like the entire world wants to go through the dumpster and find one piece of paper with one word that says
Yeah.
Skywalker or Vader on it, they just don't let anything out.
Right.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, were they very strict for you sticking to the script, or did they let you ad lib it all?
Uh, Quite strict with the script. I don't think there was any real variance.
Okay.
Hmm.
I figured they would be that way, but
Yeah,
being this
yeah, for the most
pirate,
part,
maybe.
because was trying to think, was there ever a chance to do that? I think the wording, the dialogue was 100% locked. Whatever I wanted to do in my interpretation of it seemed to be wide open, which
Okay.
I found to be great. Like, I don't want to come up with somebody else's dialogue because I'm not the writer of the story. I don't want to say something that's going to change an implication later on. Like, that's largely what they're trying to protect. Like, you don't want an actor coming in and like painting you into a corner with his like, I'm so important dialogue. But to be able to interpret it, that gave me the freedom as an actor that I crave the most, which is coming up with a character and like giving it some weight and some backstory,
giving him some
that means
life.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't want to show up and be like, Apollo, I haven't seen you in. Oh, my bad, wrong movie. It's like,
Right.
Damn you, cretin.
He's Apollo.
You're looking good, Grief. Have you had a prostate exam lately? You look healthy.
Yeah,
Oh
you're
my
walking
God.
That's why
smooth.
my skin is clear as.
I met Carl Weathers, what was it, last year? And I still kept, I don't know why, like meeting him, I just kept addressing him as sir. I was like, yes, sir. Like, no,
Feels that
sir. I
way.
was just like, yeah, I
Feels
don't
that
know
way.
why it just came out that way. And I've never been like that with any of the actors I've ever met. But with him, I was just like very, like, hi, yes, sir, no, sir, like very prim and proper meeting him.
Yeah.
Can I tell you my other story about Carl on the day? He when I got there, they take you out to the Navarro set and they kind of hide you out. You've got your robes on so no cop can take a picture of you, and they kind of stick you right in the trailer and wait. As soon as I got in there, somebody came in. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Weathers would like to run lines if that's all right with you." And I was like, "That's very all right. Like, come on." So my very first day, minute one, day one, was Carl Weathers coming in, just like running dialogue on this scene.
That's crazy.
And after every break, whenever we'd come back, he'd be like, "Hey, Marty." Yes, Carl. Carl. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You're like, is it always going to be like this? It's like,
oh my God.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I told Favreau straight up, I'm like, I could put a hammock up over here. Like, you never know I'm there. I just want to live in this place.
Just absorb it, man. That's so cool.
The set itself looks amazing. And I was gonna say, cool. Like, for me, like, in the in terms of like the backstory in my mind for your character was that he was a pirate. Grief Karga obviously worked for the bounty hunters, right? At some point, so maybe he had a bounty on your character or something. That's why there's some sort of history there. I don't know. I was just kind of like, I was making it up in my head.
Oh yeah. Oh, good.
Okay.
Good. Go on. Go on.
Yeah, it was just like that. That's how I felt when that scene, this scene was shot. That was the history. Like I said, you're a pirate. He was a former bounty hunter, guild leader. So that had to be some sort of thing. But I was going to say and ask you, you got a chance to participate in one of the coolest like space battle scenes in all of Mandalorian. That was so freaking awesome.
On so many levels. You want to nerd out about
how was
that scene together? Oh man, flying that thing was really hard, but I got the hang of it after a while. Like, I almost clipped a blue asteroid, but I held it together.
Almost.
You did good.
I got, well, what's to say about that? So I was supposed to die the first day, right? So I didn't know any of that was going to happen. They were trying to find a way to bring Vane back when they decided he wasn't going to die, but they they build the whole season, so it's pretty much set. At one point, and you can launch this, pick it up whenever you want to, but at one point, when I heard that there was going to be a use for him extracurricularly, then they're like, okay, well, in that case, let's put him into this thing they'd already established. I feel bad because they probably moved somebody else out of that fight scene to put Vane in it, which I was thrilled for because it raised his visibility. It let Vane do some more fun stuff. And then for me as a fan, I got to have a dog fight in an asteroid field, man.
You're like, I'm in Star Wars flying a ship.
Yeah, and such a good scene too. Like the music hits when Mando starts hunting them, when he starts like full on hunting them, and like comes in behind. You don't even see him hit the guy; it just explodes behind the thing, and he flies through it.
Yeah.
And then the music hits like 3 times. It hits that one, hits another one, and then Mando like rises up behind the last group. Oh, so good! You want to watch it? You got it.
Oh, well, I would love to, but the only
We
problem
could,
is that
you'd have to speed watch it.
yeah, I have. I
Does
would,
Lucasfilm not like that? Do they tag?
Yeah,
Mando
yeah,
in those things?
they
Yeah,
tag.
Disney would
yeah.
kick. Yeah, they'd
Got it,
shut
got
us
it.
down.
They flag for little things.
Yeah, so
You could
I
play
mean,
like
Fair
10
enough, fair enough.
seconds or 5 seconds, and that's it. No
yeah.
All
volume.
right, fair enough. Yeah, so for me as an actor, that was one day that we shot the dogfight for 1 and the dogfight for 5 that you're in right now.
Mhm.
And it was just like a lighting change on the set, and it was just a cockpit. Had my sticks in hand, and it was just me kind of swooping around and
So you had the volume
knowing that it
around
was going to be
you?
amazing. For this, it was not. They used green
Oh.
screen and then lights on tracks.
Oh, okay.
Although I got to see the volume, I can't. You haven't opened the door yet, so I mean I saw the volume
Mhm.
somehow.
Somehow,
In
some
something.
way, for some
Nelda,
for
Stop it,
something.
Nelda. You know what we're talking about.
Skeleton
You know what we're
Crew.
talking about.
I
right?
know what you're
Okay,
talking about.
There you go.
listen,
All right.
Can we talk about
Skeleton Crew.
Yes.
in the room?
Yes. Let's
right,
talk
well-
about it. Obviously, like, you know, I just want to set you up here. Obviously we know that your character left Gorian, you know, Shard like
Peace
hanging.
out.
You were like, all right, you're on your own. That's when I
Yeah.
knew.
Later, sucker.
That moment, I knew this guy's gonna be a leader. This guy, upper management, written all
Upper
over
management
him.
material all over you.
That is it.
Yeah.
I gotta go speak to the Bobs.
You know, like
He's
where
like
you're
that
just
guy,
like,
you know, he's just smart enough, right?
mhm.
Like he knows
yeah.
just enough to like, this is not going to benefit me, so I'm going to let you all die and get out of here.
Yep.
It's kind of the way it runs. He operates that way.
Yes.
Got
So
you
yes,
to be
he
a
does
pirate.
fly off.
Mhm.
Yeah, I didn't know where he was going to go at that point,
Mhm.
but then I decided to go. I've got a friend who lives in London. I had a trip planned that was coordinating with Celebration.
Mhm.
So I thought to myself, well, I don't have an invite because there's no reason for me to at this point, but I'm going to go just as a fan and kind of lurk. So I put on my Lego Vane T-shirt
Oh,
and then
nice.
just like lurked the crowd. I
Right.
went to the first show where they tried out the teasers and the trailers for all the new stuff,
Mhm.
and just kind of like waiting, going, "It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen." Because if it does, I can say it. If it does, I can say it. And then I saw Vane's
Yeah.
face in the Skeleton Crew teaser. I'm like, I mean, Skeleton Crew. I mean, Skeleton Crew.
Yep. Now I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Then you go back and change shirts, and it says "I am Vane" and the Skeleton Crew, and you just walk around like,
I'm so
"It's me."
vain.
Coming
It's me.
soon.
You're
Coming
so-
soon to a Skeleton Crew near you.
Oh man.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I was
that's all
gonna
I know. He
Oh,
does
okay.
show up somewhere else. In
Yeah.
the Skeleton Crew.
I
Okay,
had
well-
friends who were at Celebration, and they were every time that they went to like any of the teasers, they were like FaceTiming me so I can watch all these things, but like privately they were like hiding their phones. So when I saw
They
the
were tough.
when I saw the teaser for Skeleton Crew, I was like, oh, I was like,
Yeah,
baby.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
fun. Yeah, it was a nice little shot. And it's
Mhm.
So the one thing too with Skeleton Crew, and you know, and that's one thing too about like in terms of any new show that you don't know
Mhm.
anything about. For example,
Right.
The Mandalorian season 1, no one knew anything about
that was
this
great.
character. That was
That-
great
That was so
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
because there's zero expectations. You know,
Yes.
there's no high expectation. They're like, well, that guy Vane or this person or Jude Law's character or that person has to be
Who? Who? Jude somebody?
Yeah.
The enemy at the gate.
The
Yeah.
enemy at the gates.
That was a great movie.
Yeah, that was a
Yes.
good. But I'm just saying, it's just like there you don't know anything. You just know
Right.
Skeleton Crew. Okay, where does it take place? In the Mandalorian universe.
Right. That's
And the
what
fact
I've
that
heard.
yes, that's what I've heard. But it's just like so many things are like running through my mind, especially with Ahsoka just coming out and
Yeah, what are
saying
you
like
thinking? What are your theories? You got some theories?
it's like so my theory is that the Skeleton Crew is the crew to go get the
Go set.
Rebel crew and bring him back to the
Interesting.
regular Star Wars
just kinda, like,
galaxy.
tie it up.
Yeah, the skeleton crew's in the different galaxy, and
Mhm.
then they somehow run into them and maybe help bring them back.
Yeah,
sounds
something
good.
along those lines. But and then obviously
knows?
maybe, and I'm speculating here. Your character
Aren't
Vane
we
comes
all?
in the way and tries to
Yeah, we're all
spoil the
guessing here, everybody.
yeah. And we're speculating here, guys. Please don't
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Oh, well, PJ said this and this is gonna happen," or nah, we're just speculating. And I was gonna say, Vane plays a huge part in, or I want him to play a huge part as being the main villain in trying to
Aw.
foil those plans of getting the rebel crew back to where they need to go.
Uh-huh.
Sound like a good. Sound like a good.
I'd watch that. I'd
show.
totally
You watch that
show, man.
Nilla, would you
Yeah,
watch
yeah, yeah.
that?
Of course.
Okay, Sean, good. Because
Absolutely.
I've been
absolutely.
hyped about it since they talked about it at Celebration.
yeah. Well,
I'm
I just
amazed how
yeah.
little has come out about it, other than
which is exciting.
the kids,
Like today they
the kids'
announced
involvement.
today they announced like a couple, like I repost, or was it today or yesterday? They announced something like about like when filming is actually, when things are set to release and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
They talked about Skeleton Crew and the Acolyte. Let me see if I can pull it up.
Is
I
there
think
an
they
order
said
yet?
the Skeleton Crew was going to be early 2025. Just
Oh.
because of the,
Is it that
supposedly.
long?
I don't know. Supposedly.
Well, we still
know
got to
it's-
get through Andor, right?
Oh no, is
Andor
it
coming up?
Andor?
Well, that-
no, I think Andor.
What
I'm
I
sorry.
heard was Andor 2
Andor
is
is
getting
2020
pushed because they haven't gone back yet to finish their season. They took a break from the strike. So
Yeah.
initially what I heard was it was going to be like this holiday season, and then they pushed because of the strike to early 24.
Mhm.
Then I heard some rampant speculation that it was going to be pushed into the holiday 24 season. And then recently, maybe it was today's stuff, I heard that because Andor is so far behind, they're going to bring Skeleton Crew and Acolyte.
Yes.
I don't know which one first, but
Yeah,
Skeleton Crew
so-
and Acolyte are
Okay.
like the two that are coming out.
Yeah, so it
And
says
Bad
Disney
Batch
Plus
season 3.
says Disney Plus only confirms 2 Star Wars series coming in 2024, The Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. It says in a new press release from Disney Plus UK, the platform has provided a list of some of the titles we should expect from them in 2024. So then it just talks about like more of like the upcoming series.
Yeah, I think I might have
great.
mixed up the dates. I think 2025 is Andor season 2 just because of the strike, and then they pushed up Acolyte and Skeleton Crew. So
Good.
well, I was gonna say, yeah.
I don't want them to rush Andor season 2 because I cannot wait for that show. And if it like takes all the heat away from 2 new
I still
properties,
haven't
I think.
watched it.
Wait.
Oh my God, Captain Bane!
What did you just say?
I
What did you just say?
You're messing with Bane.
Come here.
So,
You haven't
I've
watched it. Why haven't you watched?
I've watched
We just
the
met,
first.
but I already know so much about you.
I know. I've watched the first 2 episodes, and I've had these conversations
bored?
with Sean. It's not.
See, I loved it.
You're a little bit bored. It's okay. You can say it.
Yeah, but you know what the thing is? A lot has to do is the same thing with PJ. I'm in the medical field, so I have to be at work every day at like 5:30, 6 o'clock sometimes. So when I get the chance to actually get home and settle and be able to catch up on stuff, every time that I've tried watching the show, it's around like 11 o'clock, and my bed has this thing where like the moment I lay down on it, I'm out.
You're done.
I'm done. I turn into like a little baby that's being coddled by their parents. So
Great. Well, you get home and you sit on a wooden bench in front of your TV.
Just get so
Make it
uncomfortable you can't sleep.
And I have to watch it because of the fact that like I keep getting people telling me, I have different debates with people and they tell me references about it, and I'm just like, stop! I haven't watched it, please.
But the thing is, the second
Well, then we
season
won't
is
spoil
going to be
anything about it.
Oh no, it's fine. You guys can talk about it. I've already TikTok has ruined it for me, so has Instagram.
Oh.
So I kind of
Okay,
have
well then-
a slight idea of what happened in the first season. I just, I have to pick up on certain things.
I will say that as now a middle-aged Star Wars fanboy, It's the best thing I've seen. It made me feel like the original Star Wars made me feel as a little kid because
Okay.
it catered to all of that love of adventure
Mhm.
as a more what would you call it? Like as a more astute consumer of cinema.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So if you have a better understanding of writing structure and of acting
Yeah.
and of cinema, it's a high level property. It's really well done.
The
Like it just
cinematography is
happens
beautiful.
to be in Star Wars world. It just happens to be there, but it's like a thriller. You're just watching
Yeah.
like a high level thriller because Tony Gilroy is so good and
Yeah.
the
And it's
actors
gonna
are
get better.
so good,
And that's why,
so
you
good.
know, like the first 2 times that I fell asleep watching it, I was like, why am I falling asleep to this? Like the
It's
just the
yeah,
acting
That's all
list
right.
alone, just the
It's the
Yeah,
acting
yeah.
pace.
list alone
It's
is
the pace
insane.
of it. It's the
yeah.
It's a
pace
slow
of it.
burn.
Well,
It's totally a
Yeah.
slow
Yeah.
burn. No,
well,
yeah, that's
here's
legit.
and here's the thing that's beautiful about Star Wars is that everyone has their own sandbox, right? Of what they think Star Wars is, right? Like, and you know, it's just one of those where, like, for me, like practical effects, like certain things that makes it like Star Wars is like what I look for. And you know, obviously with this show, which I liked, is different. Different meaning, like you said, like I took a lot of like classes in film when I was in high
Mm.
school and in college. And mind you, the way I did that was I was planning to just sleep during the in high school for my but here's the thing,
Easy grade.
my teacher was so good that I actually love that class. And
Nice.
I appreciated filmmaking more after I took that class. And but the cinematography, like you said, was amazing. And that's one thing I love in a movie or in a show is cinematography. For example,
Yeah.
Mm.
Blade Runner 2049. Oh my gosh, like the
49, yeah.
like that
So good.
cinematography is mind blowing. And Dune, oh my goodness.
Dune was
Oh, Dune is just like
Dune
I
was
just can't wait.
beautiful.
You're
That's
just
like
like,
Denis Villeneuve is on that list of like if you could work
yes.
with anybody. There's Star Wars, got that one.
Mm,
Denis
mm.
Villeneuve, anything he does is such a beautiful project.
Yeah.
Yeah, cinematography is my thing. I just love it. And
Well, even the
that's what
writing on that, like
yeah,
Luthen's
right.
character, the
Mhm.
Character of Luthen. Well, most people got really great things to say, but that speech, right, when
That
he's
speech,
going to
yes.
see Lonnie, he's going down into the underbelly of Coruscant to talk to Lonnie, his plant. Sorry,
Mhm.
Mhm.
spoiler alert. He's talking to
Spoiler.
somebody about something. Uh,
Mhm.
and he's asked that question where he could have given like the one word answer that he gives at the very end of this amazing
Mhm.
monologue, which is like, I'm sacrificing everything, dude. But instead, you get to see his entire process as he's thinking about the question, like, what, how does this affect my life? What's this doing to the people? He goes through the entire process. That's all I want to see. Like as a consumer of media, if we're going to call it that, and as an actor, the best stuff is watching someone think about what they've been asked or process something, like watching it chew, as
Mhm.
the
Right.
gears are turning.
Oh, yeah.
That's the best stuff. And that TV show was all about that, like
Yeah.
implications of what's happening as
Yep.
people are thinking about those implications. That's what I think it
Yeah, it's
excelled.
definitely a slow burn, but it's good. And then, I mean,
Okay,
it's leading
I
up to, but
promise.
it's leading up to the second season, which is probably going to be amazing. It's going to speed up.
Yeah.
It's going
Yeah.
to be really good.
Okay,
Plus, it
Yeah.
had one of
I
the
promise
best
you.
sex scenes ever in Star Wars.
Yeah, you need to watch it.
I
Do you
promise
guys know
you.
what
I
I'm talking
promise
about?
you. I will
Oh,
watch
Yeah.
yeah.
it before
Oh,
the
yeah.
year. I'll
It was
watch
hot
it before the year is
imperial sex
over.
scene. They stayed
Yeah.
fully clothed. All they did was just talk about weird things. Do you know what I'm talking about? When Cyril stalked
Yeah.
the ISB agent Dedra, and he like
Yeah,
goes
yeah,
up to
yeah.
her, and she's like
Yeah.
looking at him like he's a bug, and then she's like getting a little curious, but she's still repulsed. It was so hot.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
So what do we got?
I promise before the year ends. So that means I have
Question.
like a couple weeks. I will watch. I will finish Andor. I promise you.
I want you to reach out and let me know when you've finished it, so we could talk about like 3 or 4 things
Okay.
specifically.
Okay, I promise.
All right?
I promise.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I will await that day.
You can hold me
Yeah.
to it. I promise you.
Okay.
Yeah. We
This is
got a
the
couple
deal. You
questions in it.
all heard it here. Yeah.
Well, we got a couple questions here from Flex. What's up, Flex? It goes, anyone specific on set that you had a really good chemistry with?
I have to say it was probably Carl because I spent the most time
Mm-hmm.
talking with him, and
Yeah,
Okay.
because he
that's
was out of
awesome.
makeup, like I couldn't really bond too much with my boys because they were all stuffed into masks and like sweating it out. And so
Mhm.
like, there's somebody in there. I can see some eyeballs, but uh, Carl was very welcoming. Because he only saw me in makeup, I think maybe he thought I was like, young new kid on set. He's
Right.
like, here, come here, let me tell you how things work, kiddo.
Back in the day.
Totally back in the day. We had like a sit down on a bench back in the day chat where he just told me stories about like how he came to Hollywood, and all the
Oh
parties he went
wow!
to, and
Well,
Oh,
see,
that's
who
that's
he was
cool.
meeting back in
awesome.
the day.
Did you ask him questions about Rocky?
I don't remember if I asked anything specific about Rocky. I think I just asked him things to keep him talking to me. I
Yeah.
don't remember
Yeah.
any
Right.
specifics about it, but like, oh really? Oh, tell me more. Just
Yeah.
anything else you want to say.
His voice is like, I said this comment to him before we left after meeting him. I said to him, I go, you have the type of voice that I would put a children's book in your hand and I would like for you to
Yeah.
read me stories.
Yeah.
And he just
Yeah,
chuckled when I said that.
he's a lovely guy.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
not come up with anything bad to say about the dude if I wanted to. He was just very welcoming.
Yeah. Another question, Marty. How do you feel about Filoni being in charge of creative? I guess because he's the
Wow,
chief
from
creative.
a very outside view, I mean, this is going to be strictly as a fan looking in,
Yeah.
because when I heard that Vane was not going to die, and then I heard that they were going to fly him over to something else, I immediately started scouring the slate to see what something else might be. And the
Hmm.
thing that came up in my search was Ahsoka. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be on Ahsoka as a space pirate with Filoni? This is the best thing ever. And I built this entire fantasy about imagining what Filoni's going to do with Ahsoka, like space pirates. Are we going to be her taxi service as she's trying to find Ezra? Like, how's this going to work? So yeah, I built it up because I appreciate Filoni's work on Clone Wars and Rebels and everything he's been doing with John in this new world of the Mandalorian. Um, and not to ding it, I think I didn't quite feel the same love with Ahsoka because what I saw is like a constraint of being in the volume that you don't have in animation. Like animation, it's wide open. You can say, artists, do your art. Here's my story, go crazy, and it's this
Yeah.
phenomenal, beautiful thing. So for me as a fan, I think that creative brain and that encyclopedic knowledge of this universe in that position, it sounds perfect. I don't know
Right.
how it all works, but it sounds great.
Yeah.
I think it sounds perfect as well. Like like I always
Yeah.
said that like he's like the, he's George Lucas's protege. He was like,
Yeah.
his understudy. So,
Yeah.
Right.
one more. I mean,
Mhm.
it's so fitting. It's definitely so fitting, and yeah, I'm looking
I hope it
forward
bodes
to.
well for the new stuff.
I think it will. I think it will. Another question from Marty. To what degree are you able to contribute to your character's lines, personality, actions, etc.?
Mhm. Uh, we touched briefly on that before. I don't get to do anything with the lines. There's no changes or no suggestions of, hey, what if I said this sentence instead? Because that could veer them in a direction they don't want to go. Um, but to a lesser degree on Mandalorian, partly because I was terrified because I was in Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's like, I hope I don't screw this up. I don't want to
Right.
die.
Yeah. Please ask me back.
Yeah, and I think depending on at your stage of your career and what projects you've worked on, there's like some of that fear of like, I don't want to screw this up. This is a good thing. Or you start to get the confidence of like, my instincts are good. I'm going to offer them and they can say no anytime they want. So I found that footing on Skeleton Crew just by virtue of having been in the character for a while and getting to know the people. And it's like, what if I do this? This sounds like an interesting thing. And I would walk right up and ask, like, hey, can I do this thing? And they're like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just casually, like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Yeah. Because they probably want to see if it
Which was
works,
great.
Yeah.
Which helped me also realize like I probably didn't even need to ask because all they want to do is have interesting things happen in front of the camera with these characters. So if the
Right.
dialogue is there, if you're getting from point A to point B, go nuts, dude. Like, do cool stuff.
Yeah.
So as that shoot went on, I was just trying stuff. Like, at one point, I grabbed a stunt person. I was like, "Are you a stunts? I want to do a thing. Let's do a thing. You want to do a thing?" And so we kind of like built this thing, and she grabbed the stunt coordinators, like, "Okay, I think we could do the thing." And then we talked to them. They're like, "Yeah, do the thing." And then we did the thing. So
So a lot of things
in that
happening.
sense, there's some things, man. They're going to see some things. So
There you go. A lot of things.
in that regard, I contributed some things. There's some business that was my addition.
Little
to
attitude. Little attitude.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I was gonna say too is that like you know, with you know, some of the things that you did, it just went so well and it flowed so well, and really honestly looking forward to your character coming back in the Skeleton Crew, hopefully in more Mandalorian seasons and future Mandalorian universe projects. You know, I just feel like your
From
character's
your mouth to Jon Favreau's ears.
we really need for it to happen.
We got to get John on here and talk to him.
Yeah, guys. Hey, John, like, listen.
Let's get that guy. He's fun.
Let's get that guy. Oh, I'm sure he's not busy.
Yeah.
If
you want to schedule a colonoscopy, call Sithcast.
Hey, yeah. Hey, John, do you need a prostate? No, that was weird. That was weird.
Oh my god.
Everyone that came in late has no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The prostate talk.
Yeah. But I was gonna say too, by the way, shout out to Quinlan Voss. Thank you for tuning in. We got quite a few people on the chat. But I was gonna say too is that like I don't know. It's just like I want to ask this question. Sorry, my camera's like I have like this DSLR. I always like to lose focus. You know, there's so many things I want to ask in terms of the Skeleton Crew. Like, okay, is it done filming? Are you allowed to? Is there more things happening? More post production? I wasn't sure if that's something that. Okay, we could leave it at that. Yep. Okay. Sorry if it's getting a little hot. How about you can't even tell us like how big of a role you have. Oh yeah.
Is that a giant Lego?
That is a Vane mini.
Oh, nice.
I'm just distracting you.
Is that a real Lego?
Yeah, he's like he's holding this over here and doing something else.
No more.
Vane Starfighter and the little Vane Lego guy came with it. There's actually two little Vanes. One's in like a yellow flight suit that I never wore, and then there's this guy. And I'm sorry, were you saying something about something?
Man, I just thought about it. They didn't even come up with a Black Series one for Vane. That would be sick.
They should. He's a freaking awesome looking.
Because because of the fact that I love details of faces, so I feel like that would be great.
A good one. And the costume coming back, so much texture in the costume. I think,
it would look good.
I mean, I don't know who determines what character gets the decision to be worthy of that treatment, but man, I'd sure be the first in line to get one if they do.
They need to make one.
You guys have a name? You got any insider contact info for who makes what when?
No, but I can tag. I can like make a tag on because I'm a brand ambassador for Entertainment Earth, so I can like keep tagging pictures. Like should we get this as a Black Series? I would love it, just because I like details of the faces, especially 100%. With creatures.
Those are the toys I used to gravitate toward the most. The more detail, the better. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Now, Marty, I got a question. I know you're probably biased on this, but you're from the original trilogy era. So do you like having more Star Wars series versus like the movies that we would have to wait every couple of years? And like, I get it. It's a job and you've got to go to work. But as a fan, would you rather see the movies versus the series?
I think a short time ago, I would have been hard on the side of wanting to go to the cinema to see a movie. I think maybe now I'm swaying more towards liking to see a longer treatment in a limited series. I like spending more time with it because you can develop more character, more investment, more character, more time, right? Like I feel like there's always a rush to the finish line in a 2-hour movie and it doesn't always go well.
Yeah.
In whatever property, I'm not saying like, specific to this, like because I like all of the projects for various reasons, but when you get 6 to 12 hours to explore something instead of like a tidy hour 45 or a
Mhm.
reasonable
Right.
2:15.
Yeah.
You can feel that heat clipping at their heels when they're trying to get a screen time
Yeah.
Yeah.
in a theatrical release. So I think I'm
Uh,
going more like series.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Sonny Jim was asking a question. Sorry, it's getting a little hot with this question. I wonder if Vane will ever team up with Hondo.
Ooh, they're both pirates.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a perfect
They
Everybody
look
match.
they look
loves
similar.
Hondo. They did,
I
Ah,
know.
when
see,
the first little bit of press sneakiness started coming out
Mhm.
around Mando, I was like, "Is it Hondo? I love
Yeah,
Hondo."
yeah.
And
yeah,
then they're
yeah.
like, "Oh man, it's not Hondo. Who's this dork?" And I'm with
Yeah.
them. Hondo. The design of him was great. What they did with him
Mm-hmm.
was great. I don't know
Mhm.
how much credit to give the voice actor because he was great. It was a all well-rounded, great character, and I loved watching that too. And I was thrilled to see him every time he came back.
So Marty, because you are a fan of Star Wars, and
Yeah.
we didn't get to touch base on this in the beginning because we usually always ask this question. What
Okay.
would be your top? What is your top 3 favorite Star Wars films?
Empire Strikes Back.
Okay,
There you
Empire
go.
Strikes Back.
what's
Yeah.
number 2?
Empire Strikes Back.
I love it.
I can't probably cheat my way out of that, but that
Fire's
was
the best.
okay. So again, it's context, right? So when did that come out? 79?
Mhm.
77 was Star Wars, 79-ish, 80 was Empire.
80. 80.
80. So 10-ish. I was like 9 to 10 years old, and it wasn't a happy ending. And the good guys didn't win, and I was like, I think I hate this movie. And then I
Oh,
started watching it again and again to try to understand it. And suddenly I was like, wait a minute, it's actually really pretty too. I started to see as a kid. I think that maybe that was the first film where I started looking more at like, wait a minute, so there's a spaceship all the way over here, and there's a character they're building this picture. I started to see the
right.
cinematography of it.
Wow.
And then started realizing like this is as a film, this is a really well made film.
Mhm.
And
And
so
then the
I
bad
love
guys
it
win.
for
Yeah.
and the bad guys win. And the good guys are like left. You don't know what's going
You're like,
on.
I'm
Cliffhanger
not
was great.
used to this. And now I've got to wait 3 years to find out what's going to happen.
Yeah. So we had back then we had our lifeline was that fanzine called Bantha Tracks that came out every
Yep.
however often. You'd wait at
Yep.
the post office until your little paper copy of Bantha Tracks showed up, and I think it was maybe even like a one color or two color
Yeah.
multi-page,
Wasn't
just like
much.
now they're shooting something somewhere, and there's a picture of a thing that might be called a
Yeah. And you're like,
Tecton
that's going to
reader.
be awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah. But it was like the precursor to the behind the scenes stuff. So I'm veering way away from your question. Uh, Empire holds the strongest place in my heart.
Yeah,
I
same.
gotta go. Origin story is always the best. So then we'll go A New Hope second,
Mhm.
and then if can I get out of cinema? Are we talking with the series as well?
No,
Uh,
whatever's your
Whatever
favorite.
whatever you feel.
Empire, New Hope, episode one-ish on to season one, Mando.
yeah,
Yeah. It's a good one.
that was such a
Oh,
special
Dude, the
moment.
opening scene to Mando, like as soon as
great.
that door opens and then you just hear like
Yep.
the Western space music, you're
Yeah.
like,
Yep.
wow.
So here
And
comes
you're
Clint
like,
Eastwood. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah, and
I was like watching
if any of
Tombstone.
us have studied movies in our later years, obviously we've gone through like the Sergio Leone era of the spaghetti westerns,
mm,
and then
Mm.
if you're fortunate enough to have an appreciation for Kurosawa, there's your Jimbo
Akira
Sanjiro,
Akira Kurosawa, which is
and like
what Star Wars is based
clearly,
out of. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, and
Seven
for
Samurais. Yeah,
excellent reason. So
yeah.
because of all that, they're probably the best.
Marty,
But
what
Andor,
has been? Oh,
Andor.
close.
Andor. Nice.
I'm
Marty,
gonna
what has
watch it.
been the
Rogue
coolest?
One. Oh, I'm sorry. I interrupted. I
Rogue
got
One.
excited.
Rogue One. Rogue
Dude,
One. Okay.
Rogue One.
It's beautiful. Oh, it's just
Our
one
top
of those.
six, top
That's
four,
been creeping
top
into
three.
people's top threes lately.
He's
Is Rogue One.
lately, yeah. It's
Sorry
such
to
a
interrupt you, PJ. I got excited.
no. I got it. Hey, listen, be excited.
It's like Rogue One.
Yeah. It's a hey Sean. Hey, Rogue One. Oh wait. Okay.
I got-
Marty, what has been the coolest item you signed at a con show to date?
Well, new guy, so new to cons. I've only done a few so far. The coolest thing, I would say, because I didn't know what to expect when I got to the location, I went
Mhm.
to the local Target just happened to be getting the things you need, and I looked at the toy store section because I always go to the toy section, and I saw Vane's starship, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm gonna build that while I'm sitting there in case nobody wants to talk to me or whatever. I can keep myself occupied. And then I thought, wait a minute, this is really fun. Now I'm just gonna find that kid, that kid walking around who's clearly kind of like the shy Lego kid. And at some point, he'll walk up and I'll be like, "You like Lego here?" And I signed the box off and handed it, like put the ship in the box with the Lego.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that's
signed it
nice.
to the kid.
That's nice of you. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. So that was probably the most like heartfelt, joyful part of the signing thing that happened at the conventions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And that kid will probably never forget that.
Yeah.
That pirate built my Lego for me.
You knew I like build them.
Yeah.
Got ink all over it.
Dude, I tell you guys, Legos are fun. I recently
it's
got
relaxing.
Yeah,
it's very relaxing. I just recently Craig got me the Ahsoka's the starship. So I'm gonna try to build it this weekend. Yeah, I'm gonna try to build it.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say just real quick, let's just address the chat. Just say hi to everyone. Celtic Nationo is here. Darth Kenobi, thank you for tuning in.
What's up, Santino?
House of Windu, Jake Bream is in the house. Obi-Wan, damn you. Oh, okay, yeah.
EJ, come on, you have to do it every time that he's on.
Yeah,
here,
by the way, just a little context here. We're Sithcast, so the only one Jedi that always chops down most of the Sith lords are son of a.
You're at the ready.
Son of.
Oh, by the way, I like this is a snappy interface you guys are working on here. I'm appreciating your graphics.
Oh yeah, Sean's he's the graphics guy, so he does most of our graphics. Yeah.
Very nice.
We got Quinlan Voss. What's up, Quinlan? We got Flex in the house. We got Pat's fan. Sonny Jim, I think we said what's up to you.
Wait. Sonny Jim says he dies at the end. Who dies at the end? Sonny Jim, who dies at the end? Who are you talking about?
Not Bane.
Was that just some rando comment you threw out, or are you talking like were you not watching what happens?
Was he talking about Andor?
I don't think he was.
He might have been.
Or was he just like giving us like faux spoilers, like they shoot the dog kind of thing?
Yeah, I think he would be. I don't know. Maybe he was talking about something. Yeah. I'm not sure what he was talking. Andor was spectacular. Darth Blaze is in the house. What's up, Darth? Marcel, what's up, Marcel?
I'm in the cell.
And we got Badman, and I think what's up to Flex and Rolando. Well, going back to like streaming shows and stuff. I know you mentioned that you like those shows just because it explores the characters and everything and their backstories. I just kind of wish, for me, like you love. It seems like you love cinematography. I just wish they would spend a little bit more on the production, because I want to sit down in the comfort of my own home and just feel like I'm in a movie theater with just the production stuff. And I think like Mandalorian has captured that in the most part, but I kind of want that for all the shows, like every show, just to be like at such a movie type level, where it's just like, Ahsoka did that. I think I mentioned that before, like with the music and the cinematography and that, just the, so I'm hoping that they go that route for every show moving forward, because that was such a success.
Yeah, I think Andor had the good fortune of not being in LA. I think the fact that they shot overseas at the stages on locations, it was very different look and different feel.
Yeah,
the set design on that show is off the charts. It looked beautiful. I think the volume is a phenomenal technology. I'm fascinated to see what they can do with it. I think that it can read a certain way if it's shot a certain way, and I think you can take advantage of maybe what are its constraints. I'm trying to dancing around what I could see when I was on the other show that we were talking about. Every once in a while, I go over and kind of look at the monitor just to see what's going on. And from what I was seeing, it looks crazy cinematic. You know, John Watts, Chris Ford, like those guys obviously know what they're doing. If you've seen the Spider-Man movies that they put out, and
Oh yeah.
they're cinephiles and they're high intellect, creative dudes, and I think you know they know what to do with the toys that they're given to play with, and I think it's going to look amazing. And
Mhm.
you know they've got that sensibility of kind of like a love of 80s movies and the John Hughes throwouts that they were doing in the Spider-Man stuff. So I'm curious to
Mhm.
see how cinematic this like kids story Star Wars show is going to look.
Mhm.
From like again, from what I was seeing, it's going to be beautiful.
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to get your revenge on Mando. and the rest of the gang.
Get a few licks in.
Yeah, just a couple shots
right.
in. Like, you know, he's got the Mando armor. I'm sure he'll be fine.
Yeah, sure, no
Got
worries
best
there.
scar on.
Yeah, I don't know. I just have a good feeling about your character. It's, you know, he's such a good character, and I'm sure that at some point, you know, I can't wait to see him bring the cavalry. And that's what I feel like
I
he's gonna
hope.
build his crew, and it's gonna be more
Mhm.
badass than the ones we saw in Mandalorian season 3. Speak.
So, oh,
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead, Nilda.
so this is gonna be a Star Wars question to ask because
Mhm.
Yeah.
I love American Horror Story.
Mm.
Oh,
I've
cool.
never missed a season whatsoever.
Nice.
I've been hooked.
Nice.
I've gone to every Halloween Horror Nights that has hosted it. So playing the Piggy Man, how is that? Because that was a very creepy costume.
Super creepy. Yeah, he was a
Super
bizarre
creepy.
one.
Yeah, very bizarre. Half man, half pig.
Fun to do. He didn't have a lot of like deep thought intellect to work
Yeah.
on. He was just kind of like an automaton, like, oh, knife on floor, pick knife up, stab.
Yeah.
But the I
You know,
think
you see a picture like this, and you know, I think to myself, like, if I'm in a building and I
Yeah,
see this,
I'm
if I
gone.
see- you know, if I
Run.
see this about 100
Run.
feet away from me,
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw everything possible at you to try not to
For
get
sure.
killed.
Yeah,
It's
later.
one of those like
You know, like
those
this is
dream
creepy.
sequency like nightmare things where you don't want the thing to
Yes.
notice you and then suddenly like turns its head and sees you and it was
Yeah.
terrifying.
Yeah, it's just some of these things are just. Listen, I love horror movies, but one
This
thing
one was
about
the
horror,
best.
one thing about horror movies and me is that I love watching them. It's the after watching them is what gets me. You know,
Little
it's
brain
like,
chewing on it.
yeah, like, you know, like for this character, like I'll watch it, you know, I'll go home. I mean, I'll go to bed, and then next thing you know, I wake up in the middle of the night. It's 3:33, the witching hour. I think like
Yeah.
your character's literally outside the door waiting for me, George. And I'm
Right.
like, okay, why did I watch that? Why did I do that to myself? Now I can't go back.
Yeah,
to
but
sleep.
like George's character is like the type that like if you're sleeping on the side where you're you know, like your closet is there and the closet door is
Right.
open, you're like staring and I do that. I have the tendency of making that mistake of falling asleep to like extremely graphic horror films. And
I can't even go.
I face
Graphic.
the closet. Yeah, like graphic, like murdering, you know, of people. And I've had tendencies of like facing the closet, you know, when I'm sleeping and I've woken up and I'm like, wait a second, is that somebody's eyes? Like, wait.
Nilda, why do
looking
you
at me?
do this to yourself?
She
Because I
tortures
love
herself.
because I love the thrill. These guys make fun of me all the time. Numerous of times I have
can't.
gone to bed watching The Exorcist, the original.
I
Nah.
can't.
Just to give
And I'm
yourself a little charge before you go to sleep.
Yeah, I'll take
and
the zero.
I'm so calm about it. I'm like, oh yes, her head is spinning. Okay, I'm out.
I just
It's
can't.
fine.
I can't. You know what
Yeah.
it is too. Like, last movie that really gave me like the creeps was Hereditary, and
my God, I
I
love
don't know if
that
you watched that movie, Marty, but
I haven't seen
that
him.
That movie's messed up.
So
the
even though
movie
you
is
say
like it's a slow
Yeah.
burn, and I think you'll
Okay.
appreciate the cinematography of it because I know you like cinematography.
I heard it looks
Def-
great.
It
Yes.
is amazing. There's a lot
Okay.
of like hidden like messages all over the whole movie, and it all comes together at the end. But the last 20 minutes, it
you
was
also
just
gotta
like
watch what is it called? Midsummer, which is made
Midsummer
by
was
the same
That was
production
a
company.
mind fuck.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
that was crazy.
I I feel like I'm weird. So I went to actually go see that in theaters. Yeah, I know.
Me
I just
too.
said I think that I'm weird. I am weird. And for some reason, when that movie ended, I was the only one in theaters who stood up, and I was just like,
This
There
is
were-
awesome.
Right?
my friend who
Well, it
went
was
with
such
me
a
was like,
singular vision.
yes,
Yeah.
my friend went up to me and was like, why are you clapping? And I, my eyes were watery, and I was like, this was the most beautiful cinematography horror film I've ever seen. I was like,
Yeah.
I just want to
Yeah.
go now and celebrate the Midsummer's Festival. Like, I'm so into this.
Here's the thing. I love Ari Aster. He wrote
Oh,
Hereditary,
love
and
Mm.
and I think at some point someone was like, "Hey, I think you need to do some like nice like movies because everyone's getting creeped out." But anyway, highly recommend Hereditary, and yeah, I don't know. We were just talking about horror movies
Definitely
all of
check
a
that
sudden.
out.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, speaking of conventions,
Mhm.
is there any um conventions that you're gonna be doing soon, or where can
Um,
people like get a chance to meet you in person?
I think conventions will probably start kicking up again once Skeleton Crew comes out, because
Oh,
my
okay.
2 Mando episodes were a ways back now.
Hmm.
Um, my understanding of it is they're kind of holding off now until Skeleton Crew is live, and then there'll be
Oh, gotcha,
more of a
gotcha.
draw. So like
Yeah.
right now, they seem to be like focusing on the Ahsoka crew out,
Yeah.
like all the
Yeah.
people from that, and Emily Swallow all the time, anytime, because she's awesome, and
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
so we're aspiring to be Emily Swallow level convention worthy people, but I think
No, I
Skeleton
think
Crew needs to come
yeah.
out.
Okay. So I guess for next year till Skeleton Crew comes out, no one can hopefully maybe sneak in Contropolis, New Jersey, not to
Open so.
hopefully you could come out. And like I said, like your character is a very memorable character. And one thing about Star Wars and Star Wars fans is that yeah, we appreciate the main characters, but it's like the other characters in the background that we just draw more into. I mean, who would have thought that, not only we would love your character, but we would love Rancors, we would love Dewback, we would love, all these like different types of characters. Chris Bartlett's characters, like Q9, right? Oh my gosh, I'm like
Q,
drawing.
yeah,
Yeah.
such a good one.
Yeah. So it's just like one of those that's what I love about Star Wars, because you just don't appreciate what's happening in front of you. You appreciate what's
Yeah.
happening in the back and in the back. It's just that just
Yeah.
what
There's
makes Star
so
Wars
much.
whole.
They always
There's
fill it
so
up.
much.
Yeah,
So
it's a joy.
yeah, besides Star Wars, Star Wars projects that you're part of right now, what has been your favorite, I guess, project that you were part of besides the
Probably
Star
the
Wars
most
one?
Probably the most recent one was getting to work on Evil, like season 1, episode 1 for the pilot,
Mhm.
because there was enough lead time on that I got to be involved early on with kind of finding the movement and the voice of George, and like I got to go back for like a movement test just to kind of see how we would block out the first. They had tons of time to prep the pilot because they wanted it to be kind of like a legit horror
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah.
To build that up, they took advantage of the lead time. So for me, because of that, and because of what George was and how much of a character he was,
Mhm.
that I got to help contribute to that. The satisfaction for an actor for me is that, like I love getting to sit in these amazing makeup artists'
Mhm.
chairs and watch them do their thing for anywhere
Mhm.
from an hour and a half to 6 hours, and
Mhm.
then go play. That's always fun. I love doing that. It'll be a sad day when I don't get you anymore. But to play the character for me is the best thing. And George is quite the character.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
One of the things that, you were also a part of, which I love this show, is Westworld. I know you
Mm,
Oh
played the
yeah.
drone host,
Oh my God,
and
such an incredible show.
oh, it's ahead of its
that's
time.
wild, wasn't it?
It was
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
drone
Some
wild.
crazy
host,
stuff.
yeah, so you played the drone host, which, obviously, you're in this whole outfit, right?
Hmm.
It seemed like it was all silicone. I'm not even sure. It looks silicone.
Foam. It was all foam
Foam?
latex,
Oh,
like a
okay.
Oh wow.
yeah, yeah. they had, well, it was a combination of materials, but I think the main suit itself was a foam latex, and I think some of the tendon ligament material might have been either a thicker foam or maybe a silicone. I don't know. It's beyond me. I think
I love that
what was
show.
it? And then like a more rigid face shield that came over the
Yeah.
face part of it.
Mhm.
So it was a variety of materials that all added up to like a lovely sweat fest being inside that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the movement just alone just scared me because even though it's supposed to be like a friendly sort of drill,
Yeah.
some of them were like,
Well,
could kill you.
early on, like I was only there for a few episodes in the final season.
Mhm.
The guy who deserves the credit for that is Alexander Ward. He's
Oh,
another
okay.
creature suit actor. I think he was brought on pretty early, if not at the very beginning of it, to work
Mhm.
directly with the show creators to
Mhm.
come up with that very specific kind of however you want to term the movement, but it was very distinct, right? So Alexander Ward was doing that. I came on about the time he had to transition because he got booked on something else and wasn't going to be there for a while. So I just kind of worked, and we've worked together way back to Sleepy Hollow, like we're friends. And, there's a few of us tall, skinny guys who just pal around and like have coffees and look weird, look strange together.
Do you guys have like a skinny, what is it, skinny guy tall membership club?
Handshake.
Got a
Yeah, like
club.
a handshake,
Yeah, yeah.
like a club,
For sure.
a Facebook
For
group
sure, yeah.
page.
Yep. Secret. Very secret.
Well, and one thing about us too, Star Wars fans, is that we love to collect a lot of stuff Star Wars. So, do you have any Star Wars collection, or do you collect anything in general? You do the Lego. Okay. Oh, okay.
When I was
I'm
a
gonna look
kid,
for the Lego now.
Yeah.
he's out there. I think he may be moving toward the bottom shelf in Target, but he's floating around. He's still out
I'm
there.
looking for it.
Not a huge collector. Like when I got my Star Wars toys, I
Mhm.
played them into the ground and had to replace them when their limbs came off, or I broke
Mhm.
the rocket off the rocket pack.
Mhm.
We all know what I'm talking about there, don't we?
Mhm.
But I had a couple of buddies who were another friend who was like the kid who could get anything he wanted. So he had just buckets of Star Wars guys, and it was just all a big jumbled mess.
Mhm.
I was more the kid who's like, I have my tray. All the guns for the character stay with the character in the tray. So to this day, I can think back to like IG-88. Well, I know which two guns would go with IG-88, and Boba had his specific gun. I remember the shape of that gun. Like they're intertwined. Had another friend who was more like the buy one to play with, buy one to store collector
Oh,
type as
the
a kid.
smart one. The smart one.
The smart person.
Smart, yeah, for
Oh.
sure. And I don't know what he ended up doing with it, but I always thought like, hey, that's a forward-thinking, well-off kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something your parents would do, you know.
Yeah,
it's just
probably.
it's just one of those where, like, man, if I had the DeLorean to go back in the past, I would definitely go
Right.
back to where, Superman's first appearance, first comic, or Spider-Man. Just
We'd have to go back and get the
get a
sports
couple of
almanac.
those issues and bring it back, and like, all right, here you go, guys. Mint graded 10.0, mint condition. How much?
Well, looking in the background here, what I'm seeing a lot of well cared for, curated display, visual appeal. As collectors, what is maybe, let's say, favorite or top few favorite prized collectible things? Like clearly there's a collectability around the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's got to be those one or two things where, like, if you're alone, you just take it off the shelf and like play with it.
Yeah.
I want to
Are
say
we
my
allowed to play
Ewok.
with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm the creepy
You're
one that
better.
likes to like play with the Ewoks. Like my Ewok collection that I have, I like to take them out of the shelf sometimes. Sometimes I like to take my Ewok phone and I like to like put it to my ear and be like, hello. Like, I don't know. So creepy.
I
Do
know
any Ewoks answer?
I wish.
That'd be great.
I'd be the one that I'm like, if I can go, into like a machine and have it take me anywhere. Like I would love to go to Endor and just hang out with the little furry
Just hang out with the
cannibals.
Ewoks.
The
Yeah,
Ewoks, yeah.
That was a pretty sweet setup.
Yeah.
Better
Hanging
than
out
Hoth.
outside in their little tree forts.
Yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
Guys,
I mean, for me, like, it would have to be like, There's so many. But probably the one that I gravitate towards is probably like uh the Rancor, the real robot Rancor, just because that Rancor is such a beautiful piece. It's also molded from the original prop of the
Really?
Rancor from Phil Tippett's um
You said robotic?
no, it's just
Mm,
no, it's just like a
The
statue of it.
original toy, like the big original one with the jointed arms and the rotating hands?
No, it's
No, no,
the
no.
the prop, the actual prop that they used in Return of the
Oh,
Jedi.
That
Like
Phil
okay.
there's
Tippett
this,
made. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah,
Phil
yeah.
Tippett made that's this company called Regal Robot. They made this prop, and
Regal Robot?
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Oh
Going
wow.
in, going in, going
Yeah.
in.
Tom Spina
You,
is the
Be
man.
oh,
right
I
back.
think
Regal Robot?
we created a
REGAL.
monster.
Regal
yeah, Regal
Robot.
Robot.
And got it.
Yeah, so he I'll give you a picture of it. So
Please.
basically, so
There we go. There it
yeah,
is.
so he took the molds out of like he went to the archives and he scanned um the prop
Oh,
itself,
that's so good.
and he made it into like a statue. So, and he had Phil Tippett, obviously the creator of the Rancor. He signed a lot of the plaques and stuff. So
Is it a statue or is it like a jointed thing?
it's a statue.
Not true.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah. So he's got one up, I think, now that's it's from the original maquette.
Mm.
Hold on, let me pull it up.
The concept of maquette.
The
Yeah.
concept maquette.
Very cool.
So
Did
he
I
does
just
a
hear
lot of
somebody shake their collar?
That was my dog.
Okay,
Can I
yeah.
see your dog? Where's your dog?
He's hiding over here.
I told you I love the dogs.
It's the dog whisperer.
He's right
Hey,
Yeah.
there.
buddy. Who's this?
His name is Magnum. It's my boyfriend's dog.
Magnum.
Yeah.
Hey.
He's a little older buddy. He's like,
Nice.
let me see if I can lower this.
Does he know
Chill.
FaceTime? Will he see? Hey, buddy. Hi, Magnum. Magnum.
Say hi.
Hi, Magnum.
Hi, Mag.
Your podcast
He's
just
like-
got co-opted by me going, yeah, Magnum. Magnum. Hi, buddy. Love it.
He's like,
Yeah.
don't look at me.
I'm in my private space. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Rancor is an amazing design. When I was
Yeah.
in college, I was, cruising through the student union, and they had all like the tables and booths of like anything, credit card companies or events or things to sign up for. I was going past one, and it was like some bank trying to hook college kids into credit cards. And there was a Rancor, like the old plastic toy one with the
Yeah,
joints,
yeah.
sitting on their desk. And I
Mhm.
stopped short. I'm like, why do you guys have a Rancor? And they're like, is that what it's called? And I'm like,
Oh, they
you
didn't know.
guys don't deserve this toy. May I have it, please?
Exactly.
And they didn't give it to me, unfortunately. I really wanted it. That thing's
Oh.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So this is
Legacy
the
edition.
this is the Phil Tippett. He actually hand drew some sketches that you could get with this statue, and it's only 100 that he did. So he signs it. He comes in this little like I guess like little
It's an 8x10
frame,
frame. Yeah.
8x10 frame, and that is an original Phil Tippett sketch that he sketched specifically for
The
this.
one of one.
Very
for
cool.
this.
I love this design, but I don't know why, because since I love all the vintage toys, I still love like the original vintage
Yeah.
Rancor.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
you
I
get
love
so
the
Because I
vintage.
like the
used to
arms.
seeing
The
it.
arms are so much longer, and he's like this, like,
Mhm.
yeah.
Such an odd
Yeah.
proportion. He's like a giant flea monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I know I've been asking so many questions. You guys have any other questions that you want to ask, Marty?
No, backstage we can. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
Backstage
we can have
Let's
some.
talk about more about prostate exam.
We're
No,
gonna
but like,
learn about.
okay, I just don't want to be
skeleton
like the guy that like.
Discuss our
I ha-
middle-aged health regimens when we get off this.
Oh,
I'm so glad that I'm the only woman in this group, and like,
That's good.
I don't have
You
to-
gotta drink
I don't have
lots of fiber, kids. Don't forget
Yes.
your fiber.
Well, I was gonna say, one last question. I know, Marty, I've been
Yeah.
bombarded with so many questions,
That's
but
why we're here, brother.
obviously
Yes.
you were in like I said, one of the most coolest like spaceship fights in
It's
Mandalorian.
really good. It's really good.
What I was gonna say is like, were you making sounds as you were like like pew pew
Oh,
pew
yeah.
pew, like
100%.
shooting your.
Before we started, oh yeah, 100%. I was like, I'm gonna get this out of the way now. Yeah, of course. Like,
Yeah.
well, because like when they put you up on the platform, obviously with all
Mhm,
the gear and stuff, they got to
mhm,
raise you up a little bit. So you step up on the platform, you get in the
mhm.
cockpit, the camera's there, and all that stuff. You can't see too much, so I was like, all right,
Mhm,
well, I'm sure this will be amazing later.
mhm,
But because it had been such a long time, some months after we shot the Navarro scenes, they wanted to run a refresher of what I was doing with the voice because I think it sounded a little bit different. So like, come down here. We've got the animatic of the scene.
mhm.
I was like, you're going to show me the animatic? Let's see. And so they
Yeah.
had roughly edited in most of the animatics of this scene. So once I got to see that, then it was game on. I'm like, oh my
Mhm.
God, we're going fast. We're going through asteroids. Yeah, there was a lot of
Oh, that's
childlike sound effects.
Can I say that must have been like one of the oh my gosh moments where
Mhm.
oh my gosh,
So cool.
I'm in Star Wars. Was that the feeling that you got as soon as you sat in the cockpit? Because that's one of the things too. Like, when you watch the first Star Wars movie, you're like, that's one of the things that's ingrained in your memory
Yeah.
is Luke Skywalker doing the trench run, right, and just talking.
Well,
Yeah.
I think to answer that, I think in this moment, I
Mhm.
wasn't thinking, "Oh my gosh, I'm in Star Wars." I was thinking, "Why do I need to wear pants and boots in this thing? I'm sweating to death."
Uh,
Would you have
I
preferred
was in
like
the
the
full
top?
wardrobe
No, but I'm saying, would you have preferred to have been like, the jacket, the top, and like maybe your boxer briefs or
and like
something
tidy
like that?
whities. Yeah,
yeah,
just
chilling.
It makes sense,
one of
right?
those guys. I was like one of
Oh
those
my
guys. He just
God,
runs around in
tidy
his shirt and his
whities.
underwear.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like like you're like
no one would
in.
have seen it. No one would have known,
No.
and I would have been much more comfortable because it
Yeah,
wouldn't
it's
be
like
as
almost like
sweaty
a
as
Zoom
Right?
down there.
meeting, right? You're in a Zoom meeting. You're
Well, I
like
mean,
dressed
Yeah,
up
I'm
yeah.
from.
wearing. Look at his outfit. I'm wearing a couch. I'm wearing like leather
Mhm,
upholstery, multiple layers. It was
Yeah.
hot.
Yeah,
Like it worked great for the character because you don't know what race he is, but if you look
mhm,
or species he is, but if you look, like there's a bit of a buckle in the neck
mhm.
during that scene. It's because I was sweating the makeup off. That I was
Oh
Oh,
my
coming loose.
gosh! Wow.
wow.
Yeah, so I mean, little bit insider info that probably the makeup artists don't want me to tell you, but it looks great still. But yeah, it was so sweaty.
Wait, so if
Oh,
you're sweating profusely, like wearing that, it actually starts like buckling up?
The glue can come loose. The sweat needs to find a way out somehow, so it will
oh
Yeah.
find a way
wow.
out. And sometimes, like, you don't ever get 100% of your skin glued. So if there's any little open spot where they didn't get the glue, the sweat's like,
Hmm.
I'm gonna get you. And it'll like, you can bubble up, you can do all kinds of weird things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Well,
that
yeah.
wasn't the moment, but I think the first day in Navarro was the moment.
The moment. Okay.
Rolling out Grogu was the moment.
Oh,
Wow.
Seeing at the time, I didn't know who, but I think it may have been Brendan who was in the armor. Seeing
Mm.
him leaning against the tree, that was a moment.
oh man, that must have been so cool, man.
Yeah.
Oh.
And in the edit, hearing them add the sound effect of the Beskar scrape when he leans up, he's getting
Mhm.
ready. He knows something's going to
Yeah,
go
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
After the fact, I was like, oh man,
Uh,
that's a
That's the
good.
magic. That's the magic.
Yeah, yeah.
Now,
That's all
have
you
you
needed to
gone back?
hear.
Have you gone back and like watched the episodes, like when
So many
it first-
times.
Okay, because I know a lot of
So many
actors.
times.
I know a lot of actors sometimes don't like to. There's a few that I know that like during movie premieres they leave before the movie starts because they don't want to
Mm.
see themselves, playing a character.
I'll tell you what it is. It could easily be either the good or the bad versions of ego, where you really want to see yourself, or you can't possibly look at yourself because you must be horrible. I don't care. I've been a photographer my whole life. I've been an
Mhm.
editor for 20 plus years. I'm very
Mhm.
technically minded. I love cinema. Like, I study cinema. So the first viewing, I try to divorce myself from being involved and just watch it like a fan and go like, look at
Hmm.
the space pirate with the horns in his face. I try. It's hard. And then the next time I'll be like, okay, do I remember what I was trying to do on any particular take? What did they end up choosing? Because then my editor brain goes, the editor looked for something specific. I can try to like reverse engineer what the editor was looking for. to then next time try to provide more good material for the editor.
Yeah.
So that's like second, third viewing, and then after that, I might just watch like details. I'll just look for details like background stuff I missed, or maybe what the costumes are doing, or what someone else's reactions are. I just keep going.
I
no
love
end to it.
like I keep looking at I love these pictures that PJ keeps pausing because like I said, your eyes sell
Yeah.
this character like
Absolutely.
every time.
Yeah.
Like this picture
Absolutely.
right here is just like, you know, why are you fucking
Yeah.
looking at me? Like
Right,
I feel
right.
like that's what he's saying. Your pictures are perfect for like memes.
He's very memeable, internet.
He's
Yeah.
very
So,
memeable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey, Crystal. He said he's a pro. Thank you for tuning in. And yeah,
Crystal.
Pats fan says thank you, Marty, for sharing.
Oh yeah, this is fun.
Yeah, well, I was gonna say, obviously we could go forever, and we don't want to take up too much of your
Great.
time.
Oh,
And we'll
right.
definitely talk more in the after show, more about the prostate stuff. But no, seriously, Marty. Oh my gosh, this is like, I was looking forward to this interview for such a long time, and thank you for taking time out of your day to join us and talk
Absolutely.
Star Wars.
Absolute
This was
pleasure.
More
fun.
about your character. I'm telling you
Yay,
guys.
strike being over, so we can.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
you posted something on your Instagram, and which, by the way, where can
Yeah.
people see you, or in terms of your social media like tags or accounts that they could possibly follow you and things like that?
Well, because I'm old, I keep it to a minimum. So Instagram is primary.
AOL.com.
Please, I long for the
Dial
sound of a
up.
modem screeching.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I actually missed that. I was so excited as a
fun.
kid that like I used to be able to go on AOL and then you would hear like,
Oh yeah,
beep, beep,
interneting
beep,
was
and
an
then the
event.
dial-up.
Oh
Yeah,
my
Yeah,
gosh,
right.
sending a
dial-up
You had
was
to
the
plan
best.
for your interneting. Mom,
Yes.
I'm going on the internet. Don't call anybody.
Yeah.
What's the
Kids don't
internet?
even know what that means anymore.
No, oh my
No.
gosh.
No.
And you would
Sending-
make friends on Yahoo group chat or something like that, and you didn't
Yeah.
know.
Right.
You could. I could have probably been talking
been
to
anyone.
like an 80-year-old man.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
were. You totally
I probably
were.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then
Nothing's changed there. I think that's kind of similar.
yeah, and then I was gonna say sending
You talking to
a
them.
message took like 10-15 minutes just to say hello. Say,
Yes.
hello.
Or watching that JPEG of like the swimsuit edition of Sports Illustrated, Elle McPherson like laying out on the pool, just going line by line as that JPEG was getting
Yeah,
a little bit
yeah.
clearer all the time. Like, oh, come on, boobs.
Oh my god.
I gave
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No.
Hurry
too
up.
much information.
The people-
Too much information.
No,
It's
no,
almost
people-
over. Hurry up.
Yeah, as we're drinking like our like Coca-Cola, like yeah, almost there.
What
But
were
yeah,
we talking
Marty.
about when we got way off track?
Boobs.
I don't.
Oh,
yeah,
social media.
social media. Yes,
social
yes.
media.
There you go.
If you search out me on YouTube, you'll probably find one video on the channel where I'm like, "Hi, I'm this guy out in the forest. We're going to talk about art. I'll see you next week." That was a year ago.
Mhm.
I don't know. I'm sure I'm going to do more because I love having a camera. I love
Mhm.
editing. I just don't know what to do with it. So there'll be some YouTubing happening at some point. So you can always sign up at this point, be an early adopter, but primarily it's Instagram.
Right, okay. And here it is, just in case you guys
Yep, that's the guy. Look at that actor face there.
yeah, so yeah, definitely follow Marty in his Instagram and check him out on YouTube. Like I said, Marty, I just have a good feeling about your character. It's
I
something
love
tells
your
me.
optimism.
No, something inside me is telling me it's like your character is going to play a big role in hoarding or gathering up the troops to go against the good guys.
I feel like something is gonna happen with his character, and we're all gonna be sitting here like literally when the episode drops and be like, Marty, oh my
Marty,
god,
why didn't
Marty,
you
oh my
tell
gosh,
us?
hey Marty,
Oh my
can you come
God.
back? Sorry guys, I'm booked for the rest of the year because
I'm
everyone.
so big time now. I can't.
Yeah,
even be bothered.
yeah.
No, but seriously, you did such a great job
Thank you.
playing Vane, and we really appreciate it. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us and talking
Absolute
Star Wars.
pleasure. Loved it.
Yeah,
And
this was fun.
as a fan,
Yeah,
this is
this was
great.
fun.
Like that's why I was a little leery of the convention thing at first because I don't want to be. I don't know, it's awesome. I love talking to people
That's
about this
great.
entire universe because it's fun. This is great
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, hopefully, I know you're more so waiting for Skeleton Crew to
Definitely
air,
waiting. Like,
but I hope you get a chance to come back to New Jersey. I would love to kind of like hang out with you, show you
let's do it.
around, finally go to B&H.
Yeah,
And
show me around New Jersey. I hear such good things about New Jersey. No offense, but I hear nothing great about New Jersey. Tell me what is like the great thing you're going to show me about New Jersey.
Pizza.
Well, no.
Pizza.
Well, when I say New Jersey, we're going to go to New York.
Yeah.
We'll start off in New Jersey.
Sorry,
It's got
New Jersey.
it's got
Sorry,
new
no
in it.
offense. No
Hey,
offense,
new in
New
it.
Jersey.
New Jersey's
mean-
got some nice things.
New
No,
Jersey's
we do. We
beautiful.
do have some.
Yeah, New Jersey is
we-
beautiful.
Yep.
We do have pizza, bagels. Also, New York has those things too. We also have the American Dream Mall, which is supposedly one of the biggest malls in America. But
You got
We
go-karts.
also have a lot more wide open space than people think of when they think of New Jersey. People think of New Jersey and they're like, oh, you mean that little tiny thing right to the side of Manhattan? And they're like, no, it's massive. There's a lot of
It
really
is
beautiful stuff there.
massive.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But usually the fun stuff is in New York, though. I do agree. There's a lot of things to
Fair.
Broadway shows and
Yeah.
food. But yeah, B&H. But hoping to get a chance to meet you in person again. And yeah,
And let's
thank
do
you
this
again.
again if you want to regroup when the crew comes out. Let's do
Yes,
it.
please.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We definitely need to do a part 2 of this.
Yeah.
Sounds
And
good.
guys, thank you to everyone tuning in tonight's show. This was a fun one.
Yeah, guys,
and-
thanks for hanging.
Yeah, and we'll be back next week on Wednesday.
Yep.
Take care, everyone.
Doodles.
Made it mid-chlorians be with you guys.
Look what I did. Look what I did. Again.
It's Marty's birthday.
Hey.
Wait, 2 hands is
so-
that and 1 hand is balloons? How's this work?
I have no idea. You've got something going on over there.
Made it mid-chlorians be with you guys always and forever. Take care.
Another one
I'll
in the
just be here
books.
doing this.
Another one in the
Bye.
books. Bye.
Peace.
Strike me down with all of your hatred, and your journey towards the dark side will be complete.